Hello everyone. Today I'm gonna show you guys my combos that I've been trying to perfect using the new Unchained card that got revealed to us about a week ago. Today is May 14th and we still haven't gotten the last two support cards. So when we actually do get those cards, I'm going to playtest them and possibly upload a new video with those new cards included. But for now, I decided to kind of look at what we got in here right now and decide how can we play through different combo lines, like what if you get interrupted with Nibiru or with infinite impermanence as examples. I am going to do this using two variants. The first one here is going to be a pure Unchained deck, and the second one is going to be a Fiendsmith version. And as you can tell with the Fiendsmith version, we're not playing popular cards in the deck like Luri or Track, instead going with Saint. And the reason for that is because we don't want to utilize the engravers in our opening hand. We really just want to summon them from our deck, obviously through using Exotic Knight and by going into Requiem with them. But in any case, the reason why I wanted to do this and not wait until the next two cards to come up is because I've been really excited about this new Unchained cards in all reality, and I wanted to see what the deck could possibly do with what we got. Even if the new support cards are not very good, this is essentially, I believe, to like from my end, some of the best versions of what we can do with this deck. And there is a lot that needs to be said about it. You probably seen, if you've been going around looking for Unchained combos, a lot of the one card combo with Ogre Shma. But the problem with a lot of those combo videos is that it just doesn't play well around Imperm or even Nibiru. And here I'm going to show you guys different combo lines that will play through them as well as we can possibly hope for. But in any case, I'm just gonna go ahead and move forward with that. So for our replays here, I'm actually going to show you 15 different replays. So it's gonna be a bit of a long video, but I am going to put timestamps and hoping that you guys could take a look at those and decide how you want to approach your deck with this in mind. So these new combos here, we are going to showcase a new different way to play the deck. And for a lot of you guys, you may already know these combos, but for those who don't know, hopefully I could teach you a new thing here. So first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what the full combo for each one of them do with different cards in your opening hand. A lot of these are going to be 2-card combos, okay? That is just the Unchained way. Unchained has always been 2-card combos, and I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. Yes, we did get Shma, which is a 1-card combo, but the rest of the deck still focuses on the 2-card combo. So let's go ahead and get started here. First of all, showcasing you guys a pure version of the deck with an opening hand with Shma, and it's gonna be again like a 2-card combo. Another caveat I should mention: all of these combos that I'm about to show you play around Droll and Lockbird. So Droll doesn't hurt this deck at all, and I'm sure a lot of you who play Unchained know this fact. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and move forward with what we can do with just Shma and any Unchained spell or trap. So here we're gonna go ahead and normal summon our Shma to special summon our Rakia. Then we're gonna go ahead and pop a spell and trap card to summon our Blue Dog. So one thing here that I will mention is that I'm going to assume that everybody who's watching this video kind of knows what the new cards do, right? I'm just going to quickly explain them just to you guys understand. You know, Shma here allows you to summon an Unchained from the deck and then pop a card you control, and it has the secondary effect with the rest of the Unchained when if they get destroyed, you get to summon one from the deck or hand. But in any case, let's go ahead and continue playing here. So now we're going to activate our effect to pop our Shma to summon our Red Dog. Now we're gonna go ahead and summon our Yama, and we're gonna trigger our Shavara from the graveyard, setting a trap card. You're gonna go ahead and add Aruha. So one important thing here to note too is that depending what boss monsters you end at the end, your trap card is going to change depending on that. In this version here, I'm going to actually end on Yama, which requires me to have the chamber so I can re-summon back the rage later on. You'll see it later on, but if I didn't summon the Yama and I summoned, for example, the belle, then I wouldn't need chambers. I will need a different card entirely. But in any case, so we're going to continue here the combos. We're going to special summon the blue dog by destroying the Rakia, which allow us to summon a Shavara from our deck. So here we're going to go ahead and make our King Caesar. We're making this really early on in these combos so we can play around the Nibiru plays. So here now we're going to go ahead and special summon our Aruha by destroying our back row. We're going to summon Sarama, then we're going to make Rage. Activate the effect of Sarama to set and destroy, so then we can add our red dog and special summon a monster from our graveyard. Here we're going to summon our Rage, and then we're going to go ahead and add our Shavara. So now we're going to go ahead and pop to special, and then we're going to go ahead and special summon one more monster. We're going to summon Shara. If you can, in your combos, you should always try to send Shara to the graveyard, because anytime something gets destroyed, you get to add this card to the hand. So from here, we're going to go ahead and link summon into the link 3, and then we're going to go ahead and summon into the link 4. And then by the end of the turn, it's going to trigger this effect to summon 2 Unchained from the graveyard that got destroyed this turn. So this card is pretty good. In all honesty, it could revive your Rage, it could revive your Rakias, it could revive your monsters. But there is a caveat with this card, which means that if you summon these monsters, as long as they're up on the field, you can only summon Fiends, which really hurts the deck because you cannot go into SP Little Knight with your Rage, which is a lot of disruptions. But it does have the upside that if this card gets destroyed, you can instead destroy another card on the field that is face up. So in this scenario here, we decided to bring back our Rakia after destroying it at the end of the turn here, so we have a free destruction here. And this is why I mentioned it's very important to understand what your end board is going to look like, because whatever you end on is going to affect the trap card you're going to be using. In this instance, because I summoned Lord Yama without destroying the Rage, I use it as material, so I cannot summon it from the graveyard even though I destroyed it previously. I am forced to summon other monsters that I did destroy when they get into the graveyard. So Chambers here is going to allow me to revive our Rage at any point during our opponent's turn for more interruptions. So in this here, you can see what we have going on. We have our King Caesar, which has 2 interruptions. We have our Lord Yama, which with Rakia combined gives you an additional interruption. Then we have our Abominator in the graveyard, which has an effect. It has 2 effects, I should say. The first one activates on the field. If your opponent's special summon a monster, you can target and destroy it by negating its effect, I believe, right? Oh no, you destroy one fiend you control to negate its effect. And then the second part here is that if you control a link 4 monster Unchained on the field, you can banish it when a monster gets activates effect on the field and destroy it. So this card is also really good as interruption in case your opponent summons something, you can just banish it and pop it, essentially. So we have again our 2 here, our 3 with Yama, our 4 with Abominator. And then if we revive Rage, Rage is going to have an additional interruption for 5. And depending on what you summon, you may have 6 interruption if you summon a second Abominator on the field because of his field effect. Besides that though, that's really kind of like where the pure combo ends in that scenario. It is, about 6 interruptions still. And your opponent has to deal with, King Caesar, which is a very powerful card. In any case, so that's just one replay there with the new card Shma. So now let's go ahead and show you guys a different variation with Aruha, and this also applies to Shavara as well. So we're gonna go ahead and start this like you normally would in an Unchained deck. You're gonna set your Skull Trap, destroy it, and then here we're gonna kind of deviate things a little bit from your normal Unchained combos. And remember, all of these combos that I'm showing you are going to be the bread and butter. Like every single combo is gonna start the exact same way based on if you open with Aruha, Shavara, or Shma, the new monster. So here we're gonna go ahead and pop our Aruha so we can go ahead and summon our Shavara. Next, we're gonna go ahead and summon our Yama and trigger our Shavara, set a trap. Again, you always wanna make sure you know what trap you're gonna set. Then I'm gonna pop the trap to summon the Shavara. I'm gonna obviously search the Shma earlier. Then I'm gonna go ahead here and summon our Shavara so we can make our King Caesar. So you can see I'm always trying to make King Caesar as early as possible so we can play around those Nibirus. And I'll show you guys what happens when we get Nibiru, because this deck plays through Nibiru and Imperm really well. So here we're going to summon our Shma, to summon a Rakia. We're going to pop the Rakia so we can summon our Sarama. Next we're going to summon Rage to then activate Sarama's effect to set a trap. Pop the Rage to then do double effect here. We're going to resummon the Rage, add our Shavara, then we're going to pop to special, to then activate the effect to special summon our Shara, go into our Link 3, and then go into a Abomination. So here's a different variation. Like I said, you don't have to just end on the new Link 4. Instead, you can go into Abomination. In this scenario here, we do have our chamber because we're gonna choose to revive our Rage later on. So we have 2 interruptions here with King Caesar. We have our Rage who will be able to go into SP Little Knight, so we can have up to potentially another extra 3 interruptions, so that's 5 of them. And on top of that, if your opponent summons a monster and activates their effect, we can destroy it with Abominator, so that's 6 interruptions. And if we destroy a card, that means Abomination is going to destroy an additional card. So that's going to be 7 interruptions just on this board alone. So that's it for that one. And now we're going to show you guys a full Fiendsmith combo utilizing Shavara, but again, it could be done with Aruha as well. So in this scenario, we're going to go ahead and do essentially what you do. You set your trap, summon your monster. Then I'm going to summon our Shma here. So, or sorry, our blue dog. So now we're going to go ahead and keep playing. We're going to set a trap card. In this instance, we set escape. And we're going to go ahead and add our 1-card combo, our Shma. But in here, we're also going to go ahead and pop the special summon to then activate the effect to special summon another red dog so that we can make our Caesar early on. So now we're going to go ahead and do our Shma plays. So Shma is going to summon the Aruha, pop the Aruha. Aruha is going to go ahead and summon our Sarama. We're going to make Rage. Then we're going to go ahead and set to pop the Rage. Rage is going to activate. We're going to go ahead and special summon Shma from our graveyard. So here's an important differentiation from the previous 2 combos. In the last 2 combos, I ended up summoning the Rage so we can make Link climbing. In this scenario though, however, because we want to go into the Fiendsmith combo, we're going to summon the Shma instead. An important thing here to also notice, try not to pop your Sarama with the Yama's effect, because if you do that, you're going to end up losing on some resources. So now here we're going to activate the Aruha to special, and we're going to summon our Shara. So now that we have 2 level 4s on the field, we can now go into Exiled Knight, into Requiem, and then we could go ahead and do our Fiendsmith combo. So as you can see, we're doing our sequence. We're going to go ahead and shuffle, special summon our Lacrima. Lacrima is then going to special summon. And here is something that I like to do. I like to use the sequence with Engraver to summon Abominator. Then I'm going to go ahead and summon the Engraver back on to then make another Link 4. In this scenario, I decided to do a bow, just to kind of showcase that you can summon anything that is a Link 4 onto your side of the field. In this scenario, if you had an extra card in your hand, like say you had a Wallows that you didn't care about, you can activate a Bow's effect to discard, and then you can special summon back your Rage, since you do have that in the graveyard available to you. And in this scenario, you'll have Bow on the field with your Rage, with the King Caesar, and you have Lacrima for a bit of a protection there, because it reduces your opponent's attack by 600, so it's harder for them to swing over our Rage. But the nice thing about the new card Shara is that anytime something gets destroyed on the field, you get to add it back to your hand. So this actually creates discard fodder for a Bow and even for your Abomination in the main deck. But in this deck list, we're not playing the level 8. Instead, we're using this card, the new Shara, so discard fodder for a Bow. So in here, if we look at it again, we have 2 interruption with King Caesar. We have, because in this turn I'm gonna discard a card. I didn't have a card to discard to show it, but we're gonna discard a card to summon Rage. We'll have the 3 interruptions from Rage. And then during your opponent's turn, you can do the same thing. You can either destroy a card, or you can summon another Unchained, and depending on what you summon, you can destroy with Escape or do other kinds of plays, or even Escape could have been another like Chambers or something. You can do all sorts of things with this deck. It really just depends on what else is in your hand. But yes, it is just like uninterrupted combo. It's kind of what we're looking at. So now we're going to look at the more interesting things. The more interesting plays are going to showcase how to play with these same combos that I just showed you, like the full uninterrupted version. We're going to do those again, but we're going to be showing you guys how to play around if you get Imperm on your Yama and if you get Nibiru at some point. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one here. So this first attempt is going to be a Fiendsmith Unchained, with Aruha and Imperm on the Yama. So let's go ahead and show you what to do during this situation. So we're going to do the exact same combo that I've been showing you guys. We're going to summon Aruha and then summon our blue dog to then destroy Aruha to summon the red dog. A philosophy with my combo here is that you always want to try to end with the blue dog and the red dog to use to make for your Yama. That's just the philosophy of it. I'm always trying to get those two on the field first and then make the Yama. So here we're going to activate Yama red dog, but then I'm going to get Imperm. So we're going to play without the Yama search effect. So we're going to set a trap card. Then we're going to go into activate our effect to special summon our blue dog, and then here we're going to special summon our Sarama. So another important thing here, a lot of these combos that we do get our Yama negated, we are going to search for Chamber specifically because that could easily revive our Rage. So if you're not sure what you're going to end on, or you're not sure like what would be the best play, the safest would be getting in Chambers. Because even if you get interrupted again with another card, Chambers could always revive back your Rage, for example, and that's still really, really powerful. So here we're going to go ahead and make Anguish actually for this version of the combo. We're going to go ahead and set and destroy. Then we're going to go ahead and add our card. And another thing to note for in a lot of these decks, try not to use your Yama as fast, like just shotgunning it, because if you shotgun it, sometimes you're just not going to get the right cards on the field. In this scenario, I wanted to wait on it for a little bit longer. So then we're going to go ahead and pop special to then now activate it. So we're going to summon this from our deck. I'm going to summon this from the graveyard. And what's important about this is the sequence that I did. I did Chainlink 1 Yama, Chainlink 2 Sarama. So then Sarama could trigger by summoning the Shama from the graveyard. And then our Yama is going to trigger by special summoning our Anguish onto the board. This way we could then pop to then special summon our Rakia. Because the main goal here, check it out, is going to be by linking those two to summoning Rage, activating the effect to pop in the Rage, then activate Rage effects to add our Shma to our hand, which in this, if you have been paying attention, we have not normal summoned yet. So this allows us to normal summon our Shma and continue our plays. So now we're going to activate the effect, summoning our red, activating the effect to pop the special summon a blue. We're gonna go ahead and do Fiendsmith combo at this point. So here we're just going to do, your basic Fiendsmith combo, activate sequence, summon Lacrima's effect, summon Engraver, make our Link 3 effect. We're gonna special summon here, make that, and that's gonna be the end of this. So playing through the Imperm allow us to have our King Caesar with 2 disruption. We have our Abominator here that has technically 1 interruption, not the best, but he has 1. And then we have our Chambers, which is very important because that will allow us to summon back our Rage from our graveyard. And having that ability without the Link 4 means that we can go into SP Little Knight. So that gives you an additional 3 interruptions. So that's 2 here, 3 from the Rage, possibly an additional 1 for Abominator. So that's 6 interruptions with 3 cards still in your hand, plus the ability to get cards back into your hand with Shara. And you still have follow-up with the blue dog in the graveyard, and obviously Lacrima as well in the graveyard. So you have a lot of play still, even through the Imperm here. So that's going to be for that replay. Next, we're going to do a different variation. Here we're going to do the Fiendsmith combo, but then you get Imperm when you open the Shma. So we're going to do the 1-card combo here. And for a lot of these, we're just going to wait for the Imperm on the Yama, because that's usually what every other player is probably going to do, right? Like, yeah, some people are going to maybe shotgun the first Imperm here, and that's totally fair. I mean, if they do that, then you just follow up with whatever follow-up you have here, right? But a lot of players are probably going to wait for the Yama summon, because that's typically where the deck loses a lot of its track. But with the new card, like you just saw before, you can really play through the Imperm using them. So let's go ahead and continue here. We're going to go ahead and make the Yama, activate our 2 effects, then we get Imperm. But in this scenario, as you notice, we did summon Rakia as well. Summoning Rakia with the 1 card is very important because it allows you to play around the Imperm and also the Nibiru. Alright, so for this scenario here, we are playing around the Imperm by summoning our Rakia. So we're not going to lose out on our search, but we are going to lose out on our Yama on our field for, link material. So here we're going to go ahead and do our play so we can summon our King Caesar as soon as possible. Now we're going to go ahead and do our Aruha plays, activating the effects, summoning Sarama. Then we're going to activate the effect of Sarama here by setting our trap, destroying our monster. Now here, after we do that, we're going to activate the effect of Yama. We're going to summon our Shma from our graveyard, popping our Sarama here, and then we're going to summon a Shara with our Aruha's destruction. So now here we're going to Sarama summon our disaster. So this here could have been anything. In all honesty, it didn't matter what I summoned. We just needed a target. So now we're going to do a full Fiendsmith combo. As you can see, we're just going to do, a lot of you probably already know what this combo is. But here's a deviation here. I just saw there, I ended up using our Lacrima and our Disaster to make our Rage instead. Because if you notice, we haven't made our Rage yet at all. And we really want that card to be part of our loop. Because we do have Chambers as an example here. Now we're going to go ahead and summon our sequence. We're going to go ahead and summon so we can summon another monster and then link climb into our link for Yama. And in this scenario, we're going to be able to revive 2 of our good monsters. And we're obviously going to burn for 1200, doesn't matter. And here we're going to go ahead and revive this too, because as you know, we use our Rage as link material, which is why we decided to go for Chambers so we can revive it during our opponent's turn. But in this scenario, we still have basically the exact same interruptions. We have our double Caesar, we have our single Yama here, the destruction with the Rakia, so that's 3. Then we have our graveyard effect here for 4, and then we have our Chambers here for the Rage for 5, and possibly 6 if we decide to. Let's see here. We actually don't have a second copy of Abominator in the Fiendsmith version because I just noticed it is a very, very tight extra deck. So you probably will not have another interruption beyond that. So you can probably safely say you have about 5 to 6 interruptions with this version, even playing through Impermanence. And that's not counting whatever other 3 cards you have in your hand. So that's it for that replay, and now I'm going to show you the last of the Imperms, which this one we're going to showcase the pure Unchained version, and we're going to start with the Shavara. So here we go. So this is the pure version of the deck. We're going to set our trap card, summon our Shavara, we're going to summon our blue dog, as should be, because it's going to be the new part of the combo. Next we're going to do Yama, it's going to get Imperm. We're going to set our trap card. Now I'm going to use a blue to pop to then special summon from our deck. I'm going to go ahead and do this one because here's an important distinction with the Shavara in this combo. So we summoned the Yama, but then we ended up summoning the Shma as well. This is very, very important because we're going to recycle it by destroying one of our Unchained cards. So here I decided to summon it so we can destroy it, so then we can summon our Sarama. So we're essentially putting an extra step in between these two. So now we're going to go ahead and do our Rage, activate the effect, set our trap, pop the Rage, and do 2 effects here. We're going to special summon the Rage back, pop, we're going to, there you go, summon the blue back again, and we're going to add a Shma to our hand by the effect of Rage. Then we're going to normal summon, activate the effect, we're going to summon an Aruha, pop the Aruha, and then special summon our Shavara, so then we can have the King Caesar. So this one right here was definitely a lot weaker than the Fiendsmith combo, because the Fiendsmith combo, they have so many more plays. They really do. Like, that's the difference between both versions of the deck. The Fiendsmith has a higher ceiling, but the consistency of it, the amount of cards you have to add to the deck to replace your non-engine is a lot higher than the pure Unchained, because there's a big difference. The pure Unchained could play the Impulse Dominance, which is a fantastic card, right? You really want to be playing that, and it has a lot of room for non-engine cards. But regardless, this is kind of what we ended up with this version of the deck, right? We have our double Caesar here, and we have our Rage, which could potentially be your triple SP Little 9 interruptions. So that counts up to 5, plus your escape here, counting this for a 6 disruption. So that's going to be for those versions of the deck, right? Like kind of like I was mentioning, the Imperm is a very scary card for Unchained, but if you decided to change the way you combo just a little bit, you can actually play right through it, especially using the new cards. It's actually pretty crazy how far you can go with them. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue then on to the next list, or the next part of the list here. So now I'm going to show you different combo lines that plays through Nibiru. So the first one here we're going to start with is going to be the Fiendsmith combo with the Shavara in hand. So a lot of this, again, is going to start the exact same. Set a card, special summon, activity effect, summon the blue dog, have them both on field, summon Yama, activity effect of Yama. So I should probably mention before we continue moving forward, Nibiru is a very tricky card. It is one of those things that your opponent is going to be needed to, depending on your opponent's level, let's put it that way, they're going to Nibiru you at different points. Here, in these examples that I'm going to show you, I am intentionally trying to Nibiru you, or Nibiru myself, I should say, in the most optimal places, right? Like any other time, if there's like a long string of combo that I don't get Nibiru in, that's because those are not the most optimal places to Nibiru. So you guys know and understand kind of like what I was going through my mind when I was making a video here utilizing Nibiru. But in any case, at this point, we still haven't reached our 5th summon yet. Right now, Yama is our 3rd summon. So in this scenario, like, you know, we set our trap, we added our new card Shma, and we have our Yama on the board with our blue dog in the graveyard. So now I'm going to activate the blue dogs, popping our back row to then summon another monster. So here, we have our 5th summon. If you open Shavara, right here is your 5th summon. So if you're going to get Nibiru, it has to be right now. Because if your opponent lets it go thinking, oh, you're just going to do other combo line because you still have this card in your hand, they're going to be gravely mistaken. Here is the best place to make our King Caesar. And because of that, we're going to Nibiru. So now we have our token and our Nibiru. So now we're going to summon our Shma, summon our Aruha so we can pop it and summon our Sarama. Now we're going to activate Sarama so we can set up our trap card, popping the Shma. We're going to activate Yama, summoning back the Shma, popping the Aruha, summoning the Shara from the deck, and then summoning our Disaster. So, another thing here, as you guys notice, in all of these decks, I played one Disaster in our main deck. And the reason why I played it, one, I actually really like the card, and it's a really powerful tool, so you can bait effects. It's so good, right? Because you can bait an effect, if it gets negated, that's whatever, but if it gets destroyed and negated, that means you can still summon one from a graveyard, which is really cool. Like, this card's fantastic, and as a one-up, I really enjoy it. And another thing about that I really like about it is that it plays really good into Nibiru. Like, this Nibiru is gonna be gone, it's gonna be turned into a rage here in a minute. Let's continue the play. Because this is the Fiendsmith version, we're going to go ahead and do our Fiendsmith combo. And the token here also helps us out if you get Nibiru, because it could be used as a material so you can summon sequence. So now we're going to go ahead and summon on the Lacrima, activate the effect, summon back any monster, doesn't really matter because we're going to be making our blue dog. And then here we're going to activate so we can summon it back. And as you can see here, we're going to make our King Caesar, and we're going to be making our Rage. So in this scenario here, we actually ended up a little bit different, as you can tell. We have our Abominator on the field instead of like our Link 4. We have our Rage still, and we have our Caesar, plus whatever trap card you want here at the bottom. This could be anything. This could be, honestly, like Escape or the new card. What's it called again? Let me double check on that. I forgot. Syncretism, yeah. Because if you have Syncretism here, you can actually use Abominators. You know, obviously the first effect, you can probably maybe pop it. I don't know. Like, this is a bit of an iffy first effect. Honestly, you don't know if you want to use it all the time. But we still have our 2 negates. We have our 3 here from IP. Then we have, if it is a Syncretism, you know, we could have a Link summon here as well, so we can summon something like a Belle for an additional disruption, or we can summon our Abomination so we can pop something else. And by this being in the graveyard, if you do summon an Unchained, you have an additional destruction. And obviously you have your fodder here in your graveyard as well. So you have a lot of plays when even through playing through Nibiru with this version of the deck. So next, let's go ahead and show you guys the next version here. Now we're going to go back into pure Unchained, And this one's going to be, you know, a combo utilizing both Aruha or Shavara. In this scenario, I'm going to be showcasing Aruha. So same thing, you're gonna set your card, pop it, summon your Aruha, activate the effect, summon your blue, activate your blue so you can get your red. Like again, that's the bread and butter of this deck. Have both Shavara and Shma on the board so you can make your Yama with. Or I wouldn't say deck, plays. That's the way of the combo. So here we're gonna activate two effects, set and add. So one thing to notice here, in this version right now, we are on our fourth summon, I believe. Because we summon our Aruha, we summon a blue dog, we then pop the Aruha to summon a red dog, then we summon Yama. So we're at fourth summon, right? We're gonna go step by step here because it's gonna be a bit tricky, right? Because Nibiru is gonna have to come down at some point. We're going to activate our blue dog from a graveyard so we can pop our trap card, right? Then we're going to summon it, and here's our fifth summon, but because we have a trigger activation, we're not going to Nibiru. Like, we're just going to wait till whatever comes up, right? Like, if you Nibiru now, they're going to get a free summon. So then we're going to summon our Shavara. So at this point, now is a threat, because if they make King Caesar, that means Nibiru is dead. So in this version, we're going to have to force Nibiru. So then we're going to summon that, and as you can tell here, it's going to be a very similar combo as we did last time. However, remember, this is not the Fiendsmith version. This is going to be the pure version, so we're going to end on a different board. So we're going to do a very similar play here. We're going to summon our Sarama, activate Sarama's effect, set our trap card, pop the card, effect of our Yama and what's it called, our Shma, summon Shavara, summon our blue dog, activate to special summon, and in here you can tell we just go into King Caesar and we just go into our rage. So this version of the deck obviously is going to be weaker. The pure Unchained deck is always going to be weaker than the Fiendsmith Unchained deck, but in return, like I was saying before, you have access to a lot of non-engine cards. You have access to more consistency in your deck because you have less bricks, and you also have more availability in your extra deck. Like, your extra deck is no longer like you have to have this one-off cards in your extra deck. Now you can have multiple important cards, and you can really tailor that extra deck to however you need it to be. So it is more flexible. The pure Unchained is more flexible, but that also means having, you know, weaker boards. But even if you look at this board, it's still a very powerful board, right? Like, you have your double Caesar negate here, you have your Soul Rage with your triple, and whatever this face-down card could be, you know, you can have additional disruption. Just it all depends. And in this version, I mean, we kept a token, but that's whatever in the end of the day. And then you have whatever other three cards you have in your hand. And for a lot of the times, usually, you know, just having Caesar is just good enough to just win games on its own. And having Rage as well, it's on its own good enough to win games on its own. So that's that for that replay right there. And for our final replay here, we're going to do a pure Unchained version, starting the new card, Shma, with our Belle trap. So we're going to summon that, and we're going to summon our Rakia. So an important differentiation in this version of the deck, you're going to see a lot of pauses in here, right? We're going to go ahead and summon our Shavara. So at this point right here, summoning our Yama, that's going to be our fifth summon for this version of the deck. However, as we explained before, if I were playing against this person, I would not Nibiru right now. There's no threat, and I want them to use up more resources. But I do know in my mind that they're going to have an Aruha and a trap card, so they could still combo if I decide to Nibiru at some point. So I have to hold off until I could get a point where they can use both of those out, because if once they do use them, they wouldn't have anything more to follow up with. But that's kind of like where this deck shines in, right? Now we're going to activate the effect of our blue dog to pop a Rakia. This means in this version, let's just say I panic, right? I'm like, oh wow, I don't know what to do here. I need to Nibiru now, right? So I'm going to Nibiru now so we can waste our blue dog effect in the graveyard. If I didn't do it now, instead I will summon the blue dog, summon the red dog, and then they'll Nibiru me. Blue dog goes back in the deck, and guess what? I still have my Aruha in my hand. I'll do the exact same combo I did in the previous replay, right? In here, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna panic a little bit. I'm gonna prevent this from happening. Boom, summon, summon. That gets negated. So now I'm gonna do the combo, basically the exact same combo, right? Summon Sarama, activate Sarama's effect, set to pop, Now we're going to do double effect here. We're going to summon our Rage because we're going to use that to link summon, obviously. And we're going to summon our blue dog. Now we're going to summon our red dog because we just summoned that from our deck. I'm going to pop that to summon that. And here we go. Same board. Literally the exact same board. Same, thing here, right? Like, there's really nothing different here. So, there's that one right there. Again, like, now that we have the new cards, this deck could very easily play through interruptions like Imperm and Nibiru, things that really kill the deck. Obviously, it still cannot play through Droll and Lockbird, but the good thing about playing around Droll and Lockbird is that you can play the counters to it, right? You can play your, Full Wallows, my bad. Ignore everything I just said right now. I'm talking about Mulcharmy's Full Wallows. That's the one card that we cannot play around in Unchained. But like I said, you can play the counters to that deck. You can play your Droll and Lockbirds, you can play your Ash Blossoms, you can play your Call by the Graves, and your Crossout Designators. That gives you about 7 cards, I believe, that you can use to play around the Full Wallows. And the thing about like Droll and Lockbird, like I said, you only need to search once. And if you already have like the Aruha in your hand or the Shavara or whatever you needed to search already in your hand, you can just draw yourself and you don't have to worry about your opponent drawing card because you can just combo off anyways. But anyways, now let's go ahead and get started on this last 6 replays here. So the last 6 replays are going to be a little bit different. So I decided to playtest different shards, my bad. I decided to playtest Shard because Shard, in all honesty, is probably the weakest, newest card we just got. So if I load this replay and pause it here real fast, this is going to be a 3-card combo, and it's going to be basically the full version of what you can do if you happen to have Shara with one of your spells and traps and a brick. Like literally, this could be any fiend in the game, right? It could be any of them. But in this scenario, we're just going to assume you have this garbage Kosaki in your deck, right? Like it could be anything in your deck. Because you're playing Unchained, if you have an Unchained, it actually increases the potential of the deck. But for this example, I'm going to show you what Shara can actually do. But sadly, it is going to be a 3-card combo, right? Like this Nibiru here, ignore it. It's not going to be in any way used in this duel. But we're going to go ahead and get started here. So we're going to set to special our Kosaki. Because the effect of our Shara says that you can, during the main phase, as a quick effect, discard it to summon a fiend from our hand and then destroy a card you control. And in this scenario, because we have a trap card, we're going to just destroy the set card we just had. So here we have a Shara summoning our Kosaki and then destroying our prison. And then the second effect means that anytime something gets destroyed, you can either special summon this or add it to your hand. Right? So let's go ahead and continue. So now we're gonna summon a red dog. We just have to summon a red dog because we cannot summon a blue dog because this is just a useless card. We have to play with what we are given. So now we're gonna activate both effects here. We're gonna go ahead and set a card. We're gonna go ahead and search our blue guy because we haven't normal summoned yet. We're gonna normal summon our Shma, summoning our Rakia, popping our back row, activating our trap card to summon our blue dog now. And here we're gonna utilize, both of our dogs, our blue dog and our Yama to summon our Link 3 specifically here, right? It's gonna be pretty important as you're going to find out later. But we are going to activate our card to target pop to summon it, so then we can activate the effect to summon our Shavara, so we can now use to make our King Caesar. Now we're going to activate the effect to target our aim, which destroy it, to add our 1 card from our hand and special summon a bunch of cards. Check it out. I'm going to summon our Shara, summon our blue dog, going to pop our Rakia, and I'm going to add our Shavara. Then we're going to activate the effect, summoning our Aruha. Now we're going to activate the effect to pop the Aruha to special summon the Shavara, activate the Aruha to summon our Sarama. So now we have a full board, and now check out what we're going to do here. We're going to summon our Yama. And here's something really, really cool that you can do in this deck. Check it out. So we're going to activate our Sarama's effect. We're going to set our Syncretism. And then we're going to pop our Yama. But because Yama says that if it will be destroyed, you can destroy another card on the field, you just target that destruction back to Sarama. Sarama's going to get popped. We're going to summon our red dog. Our Shara from our deck again. And then we're going to make our Rage. And by the end of the turn here, we're going to summon 2 more cards onto the board. So this version of the deck here, again, this is the pure version. so we don't have access to the Fiendsmith, but you could very easily go into Fiendsmith combo. But with just the Shara, a random brick, it has to be a Fiend, you know. It could be like Skullmeister or anything, it doesn't really matter what it is. Plus any spell and trap card, right? Like realistically in an Unchained deck, you may open up, you know, your Shara with like a Sarama and like a useless trap that you can't even pop, right? So if you have that in your hand, you can now basically come up with a full end board with just those 3 cards. So that's that, and that's what the full combo looks like. Now we're going to go ahead and show you guys how to play around through Nibiru and through Imperm using this exact same combo. So let's go ahead and do the Imperm version first. So in this scenario here, we decided to show you a more realistic version. We're just going to have Sarama in our hand, right? Like again, this is perfectly like legit hand. You know, you can have Imperm, maybe Prison, Sarama, and Shara in your hand, plus 1 more random card. Let's just say you got Ash. And the reason why I don't want to activate, like you see me having Prison, right? I never want to activate Prison because we want to play around Droll. This card plays around, well, it doesn't play around Droll because if you activate a Search a Trap, you don't have a search for your Yama. You want to use it as the secondary effect to destroy it to summon 1 from the deck. Like that's this card. Like I never search with this card. Honestly, I never do. Unless I have 2 of them and I don't get Droll. That's like the only time I ever search with this card. But anyways, let's go ahead and continue our combo here. So we're going to special summon our Sarama, pop the back row. In this scenario, because we do have an Unchained technically, we can summon our blue dog. Blue dog's gonna trigger, pop, summon our red dog. Now we're gonna make our Yama. Yama's gonna get negated here with Imperm, so we're like, dang it, we got negated. Now we're gonna set our trap card. We're going to now activate our blue dog from our graveyard to summon. Activate our trap card to summon a Rakia. Here, because we already, you know, obviously we open up a Sarama, you know, we could technically go for another Sarama here, but we decided to go for Rakia so we can have more Unchained and rotation. And now here we're gonna trigger to pop, activate the effect, add back our Shavara and special summon our Shara, and then special summon our Sarama because, you know, we haven't used this effect yet, and Yama could just revive it. So now we're going to activate the effect here to summon our Shma from our deck. We're going to activate the effect here, we're going to pop, so we can special once more. And because we still could summon our Shavara from our hand, because we haven't used the effect yet, we summon our Disaster, so we have a... Oh, actually I decided to do this instead. Wow, I forgot my combos. But anyway, so I decided to go into Rage, so then we can activate Shavara. Oh, I know why now. So we can special summon and we can add back our 1-card combo, because remember, we have not yet normal summon yet. So now we're gonna normal to activate the effect, to special our last card, to pop it, to summon once more. We're gonna go ahead and do a blue dog, that way we get access to our Fiendsmith combo line. We're gonna go ahead and do that first, before we summon our King Caesar. Go ahead and dump to make our sequence effects, going to revive, special summon Lacrima's effect. It's going to summon to make a link 3, effect once more. Oh, I messed up here. That's funny. I wanted to make summon the guy to make a link, but doesn't matter. I just make Caesar anyways. Now we're going to activate the effect to summon. Then we're going to make our link 4, and because, as you remember, we decided to pop our Rage and not revive it. So we're going to go ahead and do that during the end phase. We're going to revive both Rage and Rakia through an Imperm on our Yama with this 3-card hypothetical combo. And in here you can see, you know, how many interruptions we still have. You know, we have 2 cards in our hand, you know, don't discard those. We have our trap card, whatever that could be. We have our 1 disruption here. We have our possibly 2 disruption here, because again, we cannot go into SP thanks to the effect of Lord Yama here. So we're most likely gonna go into what's it called, the blue one. Oh, we don't even have the blue one. We're just probably gonna go into Yama in this scenario, actually. I just realized. But that's whatever. That's just kind of what the deck has to come with. And then our King Caesar here is going to have our 2 disruption. Like I said, this is kind of like why the Fiendsmith feels a little bit off to me too. Because your extra deck is so tight, like you just don't have enough room for everything you want to play. And that could very easily, like right now I just noticed, it could really prevent you from doing more than you have access to. And I guess you have this in the graveyard too. So altogether, this version ended up getting 1 disruption in the graveyard, 2 from King Caesar, that's 3, 4 from Rage, 5 from Yama, and whatever this trap card could be, this could very easily be an escape, so you can make it into a 6 disruption. So there's that combo right there for you guys. And then we're gonna do our final version of this, or which is going to be the Fiendsmith version again, with Char playing through Nibiru. So in this version here, I decided to go back to the Kosaki. I'm gonna show you what to do if you get Nibiru. So we're gonna do the exact same combo, summon a red, summon our Yama, and then we're gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing. Add normal summon effect. So here, as you guys been paying attention, we summon our Kosaki, we summon our red dog, we summon our Yama, we summon our Shma, and now this is our 5th summon. This is gonna be the trickiest one to explain in Nibiru, because right now, your opponent, if I were the opponent, I would be looking at this board and be like, okay, they have a Rakia on board that could respond to my Nibiru, which means that they're going to get a special summon from the deck. So in order for me to have the most out of this Nibiru, I need to wait until I either feel threatened or they use their Rakia effect. So if we go step by step here, we're gonna pop our back row because we have to pop our card with Shma effect. So we're going to go ahead and special summon our blue dog. And this is going to be very important because we want to try to get Nibiru as soon as possible with this version. Again, it's the same combo as you saw previously, except in this scenario, we're going to get Nibiru. We're going to go ahead and summon our Anguish, my bad. We're going to activate this effect targeting this. Like here, you can Nibiru if you want to, but because I have Rakia, I could just respond and still get something out of it. And in my opinion, like I said, I don't want to just utilize it when there's still a threat on board. So now we're going to go ahead and activate this to summon our Shavara. And now here is where it's no longer a thought, experiment like when do I Nibiru. Now is going to be the answer for this instance. So we're going to go ahead and Nibiru, which means I'm going to go ahead and quick effect pop our Anguish. So now we have those on board. Now we can activate Anguish effect and a bunch of effects on the graveyard. You can tell right there. We ended up activating like 4 effects or 3 effects or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and special summon, destroy, add, activate effect to special summon. Now here we're going to activate the effect to target to special, activate effect to special. Now we're going to use it to make rage, and now we're going to utilize this to set our trap card to destroy our rage. Rage effect is going to add back our Aruha effect. I'm going to go ahead and pop to special, which is then going to trigger to special summon, and then we're going to do Fiendsmith combo. And again, all of these combos you can very easily like change it up a little bit depending if you're playing the pure Unchained version or you're playing this Fiendsmith version. In this version, as you can tell, we're just kind of going all in. We sadly weren't able to utilize their token here, but because we have syncretism in this version, we could actually utilize the Nibiru, like say during their turn decide to go to battle phase because they cannot handle as King Caesar. They're going to try and attack into our King Caesar, but we can respond with syncretism by utilizing the Link monster and the Nibiru to go into our Rage, because we still have a Rage in our extra deck. And by summoning Rage, now we have our double King Caesar and our triple Rage disruption. And that's going to be for this version of the deck. Like, yes, this one right here is not very good, and especially the Nibiru playthrough, you just saw is not the highest value you can get out of it, but you can still play into it, right? And with all the disruption we have, we have cards here in our graveyard too that we can utilize for next turn. We do end up with at least 2, 3, and if you summon the red successfully, that's an additional 3. That's still 6 interruptions. It's very, when you look at it, you're like, man, that does not look like 6 interruptions, but in reality, that is 6 interruptions plus whatever other 2 cards you have in your hand. So that's going to be it for the Shard combos. Funny enough, there's actually our Shard combos, even with bricks. But now we're going to go into the final part of this video. Alrighty, so in this final part here, I'm going to show you guys the 1 card combo. And a lot of this you may have already seen, what other people have been doing with the 1 card combo with Shma. But in this version here, I'm gonna show you my version of the combo and how you can play around Imperm, because this version could actually play around Imperm. It cannot play around Nibiru, however. I tried and I tried, and no matter how hard I tried, I could not play around Nibiru with just the one Shma card. Like the rest of the cards, I was, saying, okay, they're just Ash Blossoms and Fuwalos. They're nothing important, right? This is just one Shma in the world. So let's show you kind of like what each version of my 2 deck list could potentially do for each one. So go ahead and do the full version of the Fiendsmith combo first. So here we're going to go normal summon our Shma, summon our Rakia. Rakia pops, so we can summon our blue dog. Blue dog's going to pop our our Shma to summon the red dog. Again, this is like my bread and butter. You always want to have those 2 on the board before you summon Yama. So then you activate Yama and a red dog to set its card, summon, get our Aruha, activate Aruha's effect to summon our Shavara with the trap card. We're gonna make Rage, activate the effect, set a card, destroy the Rage effect. We're going to go ahead and special summon our Shma. Then we're gonna go ahead and special summon our blue dog from a graveyard, summoning our Aruha because we haven't popped it yet. Summon it by using Shavara, activate the effect to summon our red one. Now we're gonna go ahead and do Fiendsmith combo. So there you go. Go ahead and just kind of like watch this go, because a lot of this we already seen multiple times. So here we're gonna make our blue dog. Here's another important thing about this card. So this card, yes, it's not very good. It really isn't. But the important thing that I really like about this card is just how generic it is. It's just 2 monsters, including a Fiend, which makes you into an Unchained Soul, which is actually pretty big, to be honest. Like, this card really is just made for Link material. Anyways, so here we're going to summon our Engraver to summon our Link 4 to then summon our King Caesar. And here we're going to go to the end phase, summon both our Rage and our Rakia. So you can tell what we have here going on. We have our 2 double interruption here, that's 2. We have 3 here with our Rakia. We have possibly 4 or maybe even 5 with our Rage here, because again, we're locking to Fiends. We have our 6 here with our Rakia, and then we have 7 here with Abominator from the graveyard. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, possibly 7 here. So yep, there you go. And I hope this kind of showcased you, what a 1-card combo could do with the Fiendsmith engine. So now let's go ahead and show you guys what it could do here with just the pure version. So the pure version with the 1 card would obviously end in some slightly different things. So we're going to summon our Rakia, summon our blue dog, pop our monster to then special summon our red dog. Then we're going to make our Yama. Yama's effect, red dog's going to trigger. We're going to go ahead and set a card, add our Aruha, effect of Aruha. We're going to go ahead and special summon it by destroying our trap card. We're going to summon Sarama here, but then we're going to make Rage. Here we're going to go ahead and set the trap card, so pop the Rage. We're going to activate several effects. We're going to summon our Rage back, because here's going to be the difference between the Fiendsmith and the pure version. In the pure version, you most likely are always going to summon your Link 2, right? Because you're going to use it for Link climbing instead of making the Excited Knight into the Fiendsmith combo. So now we're going to go ahead and special summon. We're going to go ahead and pop the Aruha to special summon the Shavara. So now we have this on board. We're going to go ahead and special summon, and here we're going to go into the blue dog. So in this scenario, we actually have something of interest here, because when we look into our extra deck, we have an extra Rage in here. This version here, kind of like in other previous combos, you have your double King Caesar negate, and here we can use our Secretism to use this with our opponent's monster to make our Rage, and Rage will have our triple interruptions with SB Little Knight. So that's 1, 2, possibly 3. Don't rely on this guy, but we do have 3 here for sure. And then we have our Rage with as another 3, so that's 6 interruptions, possibly a 7 if you can get this guy off. And besides that, having follow up in the next turn. Well, a little bit of follow up, not the biggest follow up, but it is something that you can look into with the pure version, right? Like, again, it's not the best, but it is 1 card, so yeah, 4 other cards in your hand. And then for the final replay here, I'm gonna show you guys kind of like one Shma could play around a Nibiru, one Imperm. So what version is this again? Let me double check. This is the pure version of the deck, right? So this is not the Fiendsmith version. So we're going to normal summon, activity effect, special summon Aruha, effect of Aruha. We're going to go ahead and special summon our blue dog. Basically same setup, right? We're going to now summon the red dog, summon Yama, effect of red dog, and here we're gonna get Imperm. So we're going to now change our strategy. We're going to activate the blue dog to pop the special, activate the effect. We're going to special summon our Sarama. We're going to activate to summon our rage effect, set our trap card, pop our rage effects. We're going to special summon, and we're not going to pop this time around. We're going to instead special summon this by activating this effect, summoning that, and going into our King Caesar anyway. So with one card here through Imperm, you can basically get the exact same combo we got last time, except we didn't get the Link 3 on board. Instead, we just got the Rage with the double Caesar and the Trap card. And we don't have anything in our graveyard to follow up with. We just have whatever other 4 cards are in our hand. But there's still a lot of interruption. You know, you have your 2 King Caesar and your 3 Rage, plus whatever this Trap card. This Trap card most likely is going to be useless in this scenario. But hey, at the very least, these 2 could very well clean any game it goes up against. And then any other card you have in your hand. Well, that is going to be it for this video. I know it was a really long video about combos that are probably going to be irrelevant in the near future, but I decided to do it because I felt inspired to kind of think about what I can do with this deck, because I am a Unchained lover, and this was a very fun time that I just experimented through day after day. But in any case, I hope you guys really do enjoy this, and I hope you guys find new combos, maybe discuss those in the comment section, and hopefully if you guys do see something that I did wrong, something that maybe I could change, please let me know in the comment section. There's always going to be room for improvement. There's always going to be room to learn. And here I'm going to show you again once more the deck profiles. This is the pure Unchained version with Infinite Dominus Impulse, right? It is extremely good deck, and I really enjoy playing with it. Again, Fualos is still your biggest threat, so you want to play your Ashes, your Lockenbirds, you want to play your Call by the Graves and your Crowdsout Designator to go up against it, because as I just show you, you can really play through Imperm and Prime Nibiru. The Ash Blossom is still, you know, one of those contentious things that if they hit it in the right spot, then if you don't have follow-up, it's kind of like that kind of ends your turn, but that's for a lot of decks. And then here's our Fiendsmith version. Again, I'm playing a more smaller engine, because I don't have the room in the extra deck, sadly. That's just the issue. There's just no room. And I don't want to clog my deck with dead cards either. I just want to just use them as link climbing rather than summoning them for fusion or other things. But yes, that's just kind of like what these decks are here to do and here to offer. And I do hope the last 2 cards that we do get just solve the problem of Fualos, or I don't know, does something great, because this deck is already, I think, consistent enough. I think it's powerful enough. It just needs, I don't know, actually I don't know what it really needs. That's like another question for another day. Like, what does this deck need to be successful, right? Like, if anything, it probably requires maybe another turn 0 play that's not this. It requires a way to deal with Fualos in some way. Like, it really hard to know what exactly this deck really needs. Like, what 2 cards are going to be the perfect cards to make this into like a tier 1 strategy, because as it is right now, with this version, with the new cards, I do think has potential. It's probably not going to be tier 1. It really depends on the meta. Like right now, if it was against Cool Tunes, I think this deck would be a good contender against Cool Tunes. Like straight up, like I think this right now as it is a straight up like 1-to-1 contender. It could be tier 1 if Cool Tune was like the best deck and this deck came out right now. But against other formats, like against what's it called, like Canaan Banquet Soul, for example, like this deck could suffer a lot more, I should say. But as it is now, I think we do have really good backbones, and I hope those last 2 cards that we do get skyrocket the potential of this deck. But in any case, that is going to be it for me, and I hope you guys truly do enjoy this long video, and I hope to see you guys another day. I will be uploading another video once we get the last 2 cards revealed to us. So in any case, thank you very much, and I'll see you guys later.